Welcome back for the cut. I got my boy Chandler here today. What's going on, Chandler?
Not much, man. Appreciate you having me.
What made you decide to do what you chose to do, and what do you do? Matter of fact,
It's kind of crazy how I got into it. I think the first thing that I did was have the correct connections.
okay,
So it started off. My sister was actually a recruiter for Amazon.
okay, cool,
And just graduated from school. I think I was more so curious than ambitious about the job.
okay,
So I did not know exactly what I wanted to do coming out of college. So she was a recruiter. She was just like, "Hey, you should try this." Right. So I was just thinking like, okay, college kid, don't know really what I want to do. I know Amazon's a big name. So I applied for the job, interviewed for the job. She coached me through the whole interview. Ended up getting it. And then after that, it was pretty much history. I ended up liking it.
okay.
So I stayed with Amazon for about 5 years. Pretty much ran a building for the north part of Georgia. And now I work for HelloFresh as a site lead. So I pretty much run all of Georgia for HelloFresh.
That's dope, man. Hey, how that come about? I know you. You know, I know you for a long time. You've been Amazon since I know you. But before that, you was a sneaker hustler guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Amazon taught me all it is that I needed to know about operations. And I think that one of the mistakes that I made being with Amazon for so long, a lot of people are money motivated, as I am.
right,
You know what I mean?
most people are.
Yeah, most people are. But the mistake that I made was staying at Amazon too long because I learned what I needed to learn, and there's a lot more money out there. There's a lot more to be seen.
Right.
And Amazon, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for Amazon every day that it's done for me. But I think there was more money that I could have made quicker in my time, my time being in operations.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much how I got there. I was just wanting a new change, and I saw a job. I reached out to a recruiter. She took me in, did an interview, and within 2 days they offered me a job. So
That's dope.
yeah. I wasn't the greatest at school, right?
Okay.
In school, I didn't have to study. I was just naturally smart. Didn't have to study. Didn't have great study habits. And whenever you got to college, you kind of, right? So I didn't have to study during high school. And I thought it was the same way through college.
Right.
It wasn't that way. Right. So I struggled through college, and then it was one day like wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I was worried about getting money, worried about shoes, things like that. My dad came up to me because he saw that I was struggling in school. He was
Right.
just like, "Hey, you know my dad, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Right.
you got expelled in school, man.
I'm gonna hook
Yeah,
your ass.
yeah. You got expelled time to get done with school. If you ain't done, you gotta move on. You gotta get up out my house."
Right.
And after that, man, I made all A's after that, man. Just wanted to start my life. And I think he was comparing it because my sister, she was built for school. Me personally, like, I wasn't the one to go study. I was the one to hey, let's go flip these shoes real quick, make a whole bunch of money flipping these shoes, because that's what I was doing at first.
Right. I remember that.
I thought my calling was going to be, hey, I'm going to run this store, this shoe store, and I'm going to move up the chain. I'm going to be a director of a shoe store. That's not the way life works.
Right.
We all know, like, it's got its twists and its turns, and that's how it took.
Right, you were doing all that before it became popular. I remember when I was cutting you. You had all this money sitting that what account was that? The PayPal account. They thought you doing right. They thought you doing illegal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you bought the charger with the money from Snickers.
First car. I was doing a bot system. I used to get mad that I was in a sneaker store,
Right.
and I could barely cop what was in my store, and I was a system manager, man.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I just got 5 pairs. I got 5 pairs. Like, how are you getting all these pairs and I can't get one? And I'm working in the store, right? So I figured out how they did it.
I still can't get a pair of sneakers, man. So it's like, it's crazy. And they said they go calm these bots down, but I can't tell.
Man, it's crazy because, like, you'll see in the news, Nike just got ran into. Like, somebody just robbed Nike, the warehouse in Memphis. And
Really? I did not know that.
Like, stealing from the trains and all that. So yeah, it is a crazy system to where
They want those sneakers bad. They robbing a train. Cause that's real.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never heard nobody since the Wild Wild West robbing no train. You know what I'm saying? This is a different kind of place too, though. That's a different place, man. That's comedy. So going back to your schooling, man, like, how was it? I know you're from Cartersville, man. How was it like growing up in Cartersville, man?
Growing up in Cartersville, it was a small city. You know, it's very much so growing now. Small city, known for athletics. known for baseball, football, some basketball somewhat. You know, that's where I took my time in. My dad's a big basketball coach in the city.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah,
Okay.
He's a big basketball coach in the city. Cartersville is a great place, I think. A great place to raise a family.
With that being said, did you play sports in Cartersville? What'd you do?
I did. I played basketball, and I played football for 1 year in high school. I ended up actually receiving I got a whole bunch of offers for football.
Oh, word?
Yeah, got a whole bunch of offers for football. First offer coming from Elon University, a coach named Robert Downey. He actually went to Kennesaw State, transferred to Kennesaw State. I don't know where he is now.
Okay.
But he sent me my first offer. I was linebacker, defensive end, moved me back to safety at one point in time.
Right.
But it was a crazy experience because I didn't have the technique that most football players had. Right. For my position, I could either catch up with you, I was gonna hit you.
Right.
If you expect me to make that open field tackle because my technique wasn't there, I don't think that running into college I would have been able to do it.
Got you.
So getting to college, I actually signed to play football. Ended up just not doing it, just going to school, getting my degree, and just going.
Oh, you ain't tried with a team at all? You went a different route?
I just went to a whole different route, and I just figured it wasn't for me. Football wasn't for me in high school, right? So I just only imagine doing that in college. And maybe looking back at it, student loans is a thing.
Right.
I probably should have tested it out, but I figured it wasn't for me. I didn't want to waste anybody else's time.
I feel something that's real too, because a lot of people, you chasing that dream that it may not be for you. You know what I'm saying? So we spend a lot of time doing things that we should move on from. So it's good that you notice that, this is cool and I'll enjoy this, but I know that I got another avenue right here that I'm actually going to be good at. You know what I'm saying? So that was actually smart on your part.
I think, and I live by a couple of models. I don't know if it's fail fast.
I never heard of that. That's different.
If you're going to do something, if you're going to try something new, you do it. But if it doesn't work, then go back to ground zero. Go back to what works.
Got you.
I'm all good with taking risks. But if the risk doesn't work, what are you going to do next? You can't just fail and just keep failing with the same method.
Right.
I'm big on that accountability.
We know that you did the trucking thing, man. How was the trucking thing? A lot of people, and I ask this question because a lot of people are getting into that, and sometimes I feel like they don't know the truth behind how this thing works, how the engine goes. You know what I'm saying? So, what was your experiences there, like the ups and downs and all that, with trying to do that?
And that's why I say I fail fast.
All right, got you.
I got in, and there were ups and downs. I think that if you're going to do the trucking business or any business at that, have a game plan. Don't just jump into a business and thinking you're gonna excel because it's fast money or you don't need much to do it. Do you know about the business? Did you do your research? Did you come with a plan? If it doesn't work, what are you gonna do? Do you have enough to if it fails, do you have enough to fall back on your personal bills or your family, things like that? And that's basically what I had to set up. Comes with a lot. You have to either buy a truck or you have to rent a truck.
Right.
Renting a truck is $1,000 a week, so you have to be able to make that back.
Yeah.
And not included the insurance. The insurance for a lot of these companies are $1,000 a week if you don't own the truck.
And so 2 G's a week, basically.
$2,000 a week, right? And then of course when you're buying the truck, of course you're not paying as much, but you're in it for long.
Right.
So you're you can't, something goes wrong with your truck, you can't just give it back. It's pretty much a system that you're going to want to make sure that you're sure with before you just jump all out.
That sounds like a secret some situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's wild.
Right.
So my last thing I'm gonna ask you too is not even my last thing, but as far as corporate goes, how does one prepare for an interview? How would I prepare for an interview if I wanted to work for Amazon or a high-ranking company? Because a lot of people don't know how to prepare for an interview. They don't know how to write a resume. They don't know how to dress. They don't know what to wear. Colors make a difference when you go to interviews and all that. The way you articulate yourself, all those things make a big difference when you're being interviewed.
Right. I would say because I interview for my company.
Okay.
Whenever I look at an interview, can you make your story make sense in 2 minutes? Right. So if I
said 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Man.
Right. So I'm looking for they have something called STAR method, where you say when I ask you a question, you go by situation, task, action, and result.
Okay.
That's how you're supposed to answer your question. me personally, I don't necessarily look into it. Look into the STAR method. I look into like, hey, if I ask you this question, are you going to be able to give me an answer of what you actually did to impact the business? Right. So, and I think that's one of the things that, for how I got my job, like, the person who interviewed me asked me, what type of leader that do you think you are, right? And you could probably attest to this, and anybody can probably attest to this.
Yeah.
They're in the same type of leadership role, but you can't be one type of leader when you deal with certain personalities.
Right.
You got to be able to change. You got to be able to grow, and whenever you do develop, your personalities change, right? Like I can't be the same type of leader I was whenever I was a people manager.
Right.
Like I was dealing with 1,000 people, but now I manage managers, so I can't be as hands-on. Now I have to dive deep and analyze data, things like that. So like I can't be the same type of leader. So if you can answer your questions confidently, speak up when you answer the questions, look at them, and be for real when you answer the question, I think that it goes along.
Okay, with those questions, right? What are some don'ts? Like don't say this or don't do this. What will eliminate them quick in that 2 minutes? They say the wrong thing.
Don't act like you've never before.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Like it's how you learn from it, and what you did to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Right. So the biggest thing that I would ask, like, give me a time that you failed, and somebody would tell me, well, I've never failed. Well,
yeah.
A lot.
Right.
Because I failed and I run all of Georgia for HelloFresh.
Right.
I failed yesterday.
Everybody, you know what I mean? We all do that. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not looking for you to be perfect. I'm looking for you to be real. Like, can you like, does your answers portray that you can lead people? Right. And so that's what I'm looking to.
Okay, that's crazy, because it's funny you say like admitting that you made a mistake. Because even when I was interviewing for jobs, when I was working for people, it's like you want to go in there trying to be perfect. Everything you do, like, I ain't make no mistakes here. And you do that not because you want to come off as perfect. You scared that they gonna say no to you because you interviewing because like I need this to work for me. You know what I'm saying?
But you got to realize that corporate America is not easy to get into.
True.
Most people are going to tell you no before they say yes.
True.
Right? So if you come into an interview knowing like, hey, you got your stories together, you have a scenario of what they're going to ask you, you've got about 7 or 8 stories together, you know exactly what you're going to say whenever they ask you this type of question. You know how to flip it around, so if they don't ask you that question that you think they're going to ask you, you know how to flip it around to the answer to where they actually ask you. Like, you'll go a long way. I think it's the preparation that you have.
The misconception that people got is like this: your image, and when you do interviews. So is image really important still? Like your hair, the tattoos, piercings, all those things when you go on to get a job. Are those things still as important as they once were?
I had hair before I cut it all off before a couple of months ago, right?
Right.
I'm a little bit different because we're dealing with a different generation. There's
right.
a new generation that's taking over the corporate American world, right? Now I don't think that's as much looked into as it was. I do think that is a thing with some of the companies, and depending on who's interviewing.
Right.
Me personally, if somebody comes in and sits down and interviews with me, I'm not paying attention to what you have on. Of course, you want it to be appropriate. Of course, like, I would feel comfortable with you coming in to my job and interviewing in a hoodie.
Right.
Like, I don't tell you that you can't lead people by wearing the hoodie.
Right.
That's not something that I would say.
I mean, because a guy will rob you wearing a suit too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just perception.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of American crooks out here that
you know,
do good interviews, and like they'll rob you for all your money. Right? And I've seen it firsthand. Right. And like I've seen it to where it's kind of crazy that you say that, because one of my old Amazon managers is now under trial for stealing $10 million from the company, right? So it's
money laundering.
Nah, it's kind of crazy. Like they were putting fake vendors' names as somebody was coming to the building and fixing something that's wrong with the building.
Right.
They were putting them under fake accounts. They were taking their money out under the fake accounts, pocketing.
Oh wow.
Right. So that's how they were getting away with it. Like, you'll never be able to tell from the way that they speak, from the way that they dress during the interview, from the way that they dressed at the job, Like you wouldn't be able to tell.
Right.
So I don't necessarily look into the status quo of what everybody else thinks. Like honestly, because I don't give a shit.
Right. Facts. Right. And with that being said, he don't care you interview with a hoodie. Don't go to an interview with a hoodie.
What you think is business professional in your mind for the job. If you're going to a warehouse and you're applying for a job in the warehouse and it's a management job in the warehouse, like you don't have to go in suit and tie, but be presentable.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like wear a button up, wear a polo, wear some slacks, like wear nice tennis shoes and things like that. Don't even gotta be nice tennis shoes, right? Wear what you think is acceptable.
Just don't come barefooted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not to change the subject, but for a college kid that's out there, the biggest piece of advice that I would give you is one, internships matter.
Okay. Hold on, real fast. And people don't do those because they think they don't get paid for internships, right? Some of them pay you, but most of them don't pay you, right?
There are a lot that do pay.
Okay, because I know guys who talks about that, and I thought about doing that in college before too, but they kept saying it's volunteer work. So good that you say that, because even if it is volunteer work, it's still important that you do that.
Like getting the work experience is very important, right?
Okay.
And I talk to my sister all the time, right? Like if you're an athlete, that's a plus, right? Like it shows that you can build around the team, that you can have that team camaraderie. But work experience matters, and what you do outside of school matters.
Gotcha.
Like sometimes if you're looking to get in the Amazons, the Microsofts, like it's not enough just school. It's not enough.
Right.
Right. So, and then the next thing that I would say is apply early. Right. So one of the biggest mistakes, and I said time is the only thief. One of the biggest mistakes that college kids make is getting out of school and then applying. Right? You should be applying the beginning of your senior year, so whenever you graduate, you have a job.
Right.
You should already go with the expectations that, like, hey, whenever I interview, like, hey, this is what's going on. Are you able to accommodate to that schedule, to my schedule, yes or no?
Right.
And then even if they say no, like then you're getting an interview ready. You know what the type of questions that they're asking you. It's a benefit whenever you're interviewing for these jobs, that even though you haven't graduated shit. So
Gotcha.
that's the biggest piece of advice that I would tell any college student.
What goes into choosing a barber for you? Because I know you're really big on haircuts, man. So let's talk about it.
I think the consistency. I look at the body of work. I'm one who will pay. I will pay.
Right.
If the work is shit, I won't.
Right.
I will tell you that it's shit.
Right.
There's a lot of barbers who are doing it for a quick buck, who don't put the time in. Like everybody says, everybody wants to get the big money, but nobody wants to put the work in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a lot of barbers are just doing it just to do it because it's a quick way to get money. A lot of people want to say like, hey, I need $100 today. Let me go cut 5 people's head for $20 real quick.
Right.
Instead of actually doing the quality work. Right. And you already know, we in a barbershop. Somebody beside you that can't cut, I'm looking at them like, yo, you paying for this? Like, you paying for this? Like, nah, bro. Like, sit back down in the chair, man. Come over to the price. Like, that's one thing that I'm big on, is making sure that, like, my haircut is good. Like, I used to base my work schedule around my haircuts. I'm driving from Chattanooga to Kennesaw.
Yeah, I remember that.
Every 10 or 14 days to get my haircut, man. I'm not playing. Like, and when you find somebody who can cut hair, I'll go 2 months without getting a haircut if I can't get no haircut. Like, by my guy.
Yeah,
straight up.
I remember that, man.
Yeah.
Them Chattanooga drive was wild. I remember that.
For real.
That's all good, man. Also, so going by what you said when I was interviewed, honesty is good, but throw a little bit of white lies in there somewhere to make it sound a little better.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Like, if you get the interview, I'm not looking too deep into the jobs that you previously had. If you could tell me a story about how you took the process,
all right.
I'm not looking to that.
All right, cool, man. Again, man, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Sure.
Love and love, bro. No doubt, man.
Sure.
Peace.